Good evening. Today I'll be presenting my mini I.O. Throughout this video, I'll explain how gender inequality is presented in the Me Too campaign. I will do so by analyzing a video titled Emily that pertains in this campaign since it highlights topics such as sexual assault, unity, and gender inequality, and was uploaded by the Me Too movement YouTube channel. Throughout the video, Emily, secured in a layer of anonymity, discusses the idea of being freed from toxicity and sexual abuse through liberation and forms of community and movement. The movement discussed is the Me Too movement, which began in 2006 by Tarana Burke, who used the phrase Me Too on social media such as MySpace. The movement gained magnitude and increased in virality in 2017 when allegations against Harvey Weinstein came to light and others began sharing their stories of sexual assault and rape. Survivors began coming forward, marching for this movement in order to raise awareness and help others come to terms with their own trauma by letting them know that they're not alone. The first frame to be analyzed happens later on in the video and displays an image of two hands badly clawing at the leaf, a symbol of hope and liberation. The hands in the frame are used to represent the desperation of the victim's road to regain their innocence and overcome the obstacles of sexual harassment. The hand's willingness to reach a leaf exemplifies how badly survivors want to eliminate trauma and how they feel responsible for what happens to them. There are three key features of this frame: the monochromatic background, hand-drawn animation, and the voiceover. The dark background also touches upon how they feel dirty and responsible. And society also makes sexual assault survivors feel guilty and responsible for their trauma. Discussing this further, the monochromatic background exemplifies feeling of isolation and how survivors feel that they are fighting their trauma alone. The hand-drawn animation it described formally showcases a pair of hands attempting to reach a leaf. The use of an animation brings this issue to life and describes it in a way that sometimes cannot be said by words. Characteristics of intense desperation and battling for hope are presented here to portray without words the battle survivors are fighting deep within themselves. There is also one leaf presented here. The idea of the leaf being single symbolizes the magnitude of the extent that the victims feel alone on their journey to feel less impure, as hope is so little and the desperation so great. The voiceover in this frame states, "There are so many forces that make you feel like you are alone." When she says so many, Emily is highlighting the large amount of mental and physical obstacles that survivors may face within their journey, and provides a light for them since eventually in the next frame, countless leaves are introduced, signifying hope in a united font. To relate this particular frame with the context of gender inequality presented in the Me Too movement, the hands drawn possess feminine features, suggesting how in most of these Me Too cases and allegations, the victim tends to be female, concerning the statistics that 1 in 4 women experience sexual assault in their lifetime. It is understandable that a video providing hope for survivors targets their video to female. Now, the second slide to be analyzed is in the beginning frame of the video, and it acts as a warning to viewers and lets them know that they should not feel obligated to watch alone. To code this frame, please do not feel obligated to watch alone. The use of the word please exemplifies the events of sexual harassment. During assault, actions are forced upon survivors, whereas in the video, the creator uses the word please as not force anyone into watching the video, an example of how their trauma affected them. Moreover, when the video creator states watch alone, they're telling you that it's okay to not watch this video alone. This could refer to the traumatic nature of the video and how support is required whilst discussing topics like these. It also shows how sexual assault survivors are stronger in number and alludes to the unity that the video is trying to bring to these survivors, and shows that they're not alone. There are three key features of this. However, there are three key features. Adding to that, there are three key features of this frame: the monochromatic background, the lack of voiceover silence, and the typography. The monochromatic background emphasizes the magnitude of the issue by surrounding the disclaimer in darkness, which represents the dark and evil nature regarding the issue of sexual assault and rape. The lack of voiceover aids the dark monochromatic background by, again, showcasing the magnitude of the issue. The silence within this frame places a larger weight on the warning itself, helping viewers within interpreting this message. The typography of this frame is colored white. Since the frame is placed in the beginning of the video, it acts as a type of warning. However, warnings are usually red or possess a different color. And because of the placement of this warning in the beginning, the white color could suggest purity or innocence before the sexual assault happened. And Emily is losing this purity throughout the rest of the video, since throughout it, the color of the text gets darker, suggesting contamination. This represents how sexual assault survivors tend to feel dirty after being assaulted. To relate this particular frame with the context of gender inequality presented in the Me Too movement, when it states watch alone, it suggests that survivors are stronger within a united front. Biologically, men are stronger than women, so if women were to cultivate their power together, they would be physically superior to men in larger groups. The mention of a united front could suggest the oppression of mainly women against men, as it would usually be the inferior gender that would be standing up against the more oppressive gender together. Overall, both frames highlighted gender inequality and express issues survivors face in a clear and emotive way. Thank you for your attention.